ahead. Multiplying integers. So some basic knowledge you would need for this is a negative times a negative will equal a positive. A negative times a positive would equal a negative. It doesn't matter which order it in. It could be negative positive or positive negative. Then positive times a positive will equal a positive.
Okay, so now we are going to do question 2A from the homework. And first, the first step would be to write out the question. So what we did is we wrote the question, which was in brackets. So bracket positive 8 times negative 3. And you always know that it's multiplication when two numbers are beside each other. So since these numbers are beside each other, that means we are going to multiply these. Let's move on to the next step. So next you're going to do the simple multiplication. And so 8 times 3 equals 24. So for now, we're going to stick with the number 24. And then now we look at the positive and the negative signs that were in the question in the first place. We look at them and we see which one would win, a positive or a negative between the two. We say the negative would win because a negative and a positive always equals a negative, as Soha had told us before. So now it brings us to the answer of negative 24, because negative always wins against a positive. Therefore, the answer is 24.
Alright, for question 2B, we're going to write out the question first. So it's 2B bracket negative 5 times, when there's no space and there's two brackets, it's a multiplication sign. So negative 5 times negative 4. So first we do the simple multiplication. 5 times 4 is obviously 20. So this is the answer. Now we're going to figure out which one would win. So two negatives equal a positive, therefore the answer is positive 20. If you remember what we did in the first slide, two negatives always equal a positive.
So now we're going to do question 3A from the homework. First step would be to write out the question. So we are going to write out the question, which is negative 1. And remember, when you have two brackets beside each other, that always means you're going to multiply. So the question would be now negative 1 times negative 8 times negative 2. This question can be a little bit harder than the other ones because we are dealing with three numbers instead of two. But it follows the same order. So first we are going to do the simple multiplication. 1 times 8, which equals 8, times 2, which equals 16. And now we are going to go back to the question, and we're going to see what integers they had in front of the numbers. The first number had a negative, the second number had a negative, and the third number had a negative as well. So three negatives would be a negative, because the odd number of negatives always stays a negative. In our question, there were three negatives, therefore the answer is negative 16. If you were to have two negatives, that would equal a positive because it's an even number of negatives. So now that we have three negatives, that will equal a negative because an odd number of negatives always stays a negative.
I hope you learned a lot today from the tutorial video that we just showed you. My name is Sohaib Eljak.
And I'm Maheen Zaidi.
And goodbye.